5 minutes or 5 minutes away. Check and see over there if that's broadcasting on YouTube. No, that's all. That's all. Refresh it and see if it shows up. It may not show up because even though it's no, just refresh the page. Up on the corner, the circle thing. You never seen it? Done that before? Never that? Okay. There's a delay on that. There's a delay on that. Hang on. I don't have the volume on. That out. All right. Okay, we're live. So, and I could tell when I was listening to that, I could hear it. Ba, 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 ba. Hope people are gonna sign on. Nothing. We're getting ready to start. We're just. So you're not supposed to be on here. Just leave it. That's the broadcast. It's got a delay built into it. So I just want to see that it's doing it. It's going from the live to the YouTube. This is Google Hangouts. That's YouTube. I'm good. I'm on. I'm live. I'm giving people an opportunity to sign on. So that's really where we're at. So that's where we're at. It's still 2 minutes till time. And in 2 minutes I'll start talking, and I'm going to see where people can get, can talk and stuff. Hopefully I'm going to see them coming in on here, and I can accept them when they come off. So let me do this. Say you can't sign on because I'm live. All right, you can stay if you want. Right? No? Yeah. And we'll see what happens. So it's 8 o'clock. I don't know if I'm talking to anybody out there, but it's time for the Safe Cafe. Welcome. My name is David Lassoff. I'm the host of the Safe Cafe. We're broadcasting live from Israel tonight, and I know I've got friends in Scotland and Michigan and San Francisco stopping by, I hope, and just talking about whatever we're going to talk about. I didn't want to have a very structured agenda. I think that it is a historical moment in the sense that, there's people, hey, let's see, I'm here. Okay, I'm selecting you. So there's Chadrick. Chadrick's here. And let's see who else is here. Okay, got it. There's David Yamanaka. Hello, David. Hello, Chadrick. Welcome to the Safe Cafe. It's great to have you. And basically, yeah, so tonight, it's our debut. We just want to start this real easy. I don't have a strong agenda other than that I wanted to begin. I'm sure that this is a good idea, and I just want to invite everybody to, like the Safe Network itself, like an open value network in general, the Safe Cafe is an open place. It's a place for open source people who have a vision, the earliest adopters and the pioneers that are associated with writing applications for the Safe Network, or have interest in farming for SafeCoin just as a user of the future network. Whoever you are, you're welcome, and we're glad that you're here. And I'm glad that you're here. And here's a question from David Yamanaka. He asks, what was the very first idea that got you interested in MaidSafe? Well, I recently wrote an article that was my longest article for the Safe Network blog, where I talked about I've been looking for what I call the opt-out, opt-in option for most of my adult life, which means that given the almost exclusive proliferation of command and control and authoritarian structures in the world, both weak and strong, I wanted to live and do my business and make my associations in a more free and open society than the one that I unfortunately found myself living in. And I've lived all over the world. I mean, I've lived in Singapore, I've lived in Thailand, I've lived in 2 parts of the Middle East. I live in Israel now, but I'm from America. And even in America, the so-called land of the free, it's not that way. It has its very subtle ways of being very command and control oriented. So when I had been looking at the cryptosphere, Bitcoin and things that were developing for a while, for the last couple of years, I began to see that, I don't know what it was. Again, I'm not critical of Bitcoin because I see it as a very important developmental milestone. Satoshi and those guys that are creating things for that crypto space specifically, I see their work as being very important in the development of things. And but at the same time, I instantaneously saw that this thing called a blockchain and a public ledger was, this was not what I was looking for. I don't see that is a key to privacy and freedom, and I began also to notice, and not too long after that, I consider myself to be a Safe Network micro-futurist. That means if you want to know about the human genome, don't ask me. But if you want to know about what I think the future is for SafeCoin, what I think the future is for the Safe Network, I've got a lot of opinions about that. And I began to see that there was no way that Bitcoin was going to realize any kind of a future of privacy and freedom for people like me. And it wasn't long before I began to make this prediction that I think that the authoritarian and command and control regimes of the world are finding their own ways already into co-opting that technology for their own purposes. And I believe that eventually it'll be shown that this is just their newest shiny new instrument of control. Again, I have nothing against Bitcoin. I think it's great. I'm glad that it's shown up, and I'm glad that people are learning about alternative ways of doing things that way. But I began when I ran across, and this is very long-winded, but when I ran across anybody. By the way, I have this question thing up, right? So if you got not just a question, but if you got if you want to like be here with me, like to have a conversation, and you want to take that option to just show up, and I can do a screen share. This is going to be not as interesting if I'm the only one whose voice we hear tonight. So feel free to make yourself known as far as that's concerned, and I'll be happy to give you time and the whole screen, as a matter of fact. At David Lassoff, you see underneath the Safe Cafe and the MaidSafe logo. Number one, this is going on to YouTube. If you don't want to be seen or heard, that's your choice, and it's okay, because this is going to go on my YouTube channel. Number two, that MaidSafe logo, I don't work for MaidSafe. I'm an independent guy, and I like it that way. And I hashtag Safe Network because I feel very strongly that we should call it that. The reason being that even though I've heard people try to shorten the moniker to things like SafeNet, I've read that in a lot of different places. I think that's a very bad idea, because there's about a 25-year-old U.S. corporation called SafeNet, and we don't want to be confused with them. They have a very long and public profile, and they're very successful too. So unless we want to confuse the world with what we're doing with them, I don't suggest we use that shortened moniker. I call the Safe Network the Safe Network. And but really what got me interested was I saw what David was doing. I got it. I understood that this is what I've been looking for my whole life. I believe in the guys in Trin. I think they're the real deal. I think they got a heart for liberty. They got a heart for humanity, and especially David's thinking. It's a kindred. He's a kindred spirit in a way to me, in the sense that he's not about his ego. He's not about anything other than the idea. The idea is king. And the very first, I'm on MaidSafe, mumble for audio. Sorry, no webcam on my side. Okay, that's okay. Don't worry about it. That'll work. You don't have to worry about that. But the idea that privacy was going to come into existence after, I grew up in, I'm on the ass end of the hippie generation. I was like 12 and 13 admiring the 16, 17, and 20-year-olds that were hippies. Okay, so I knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to change the world, and it was just too early, and too many drugs, and too many this, too much that. But the idea that we could self-organize, that's the bad word, actually, self-aggregate. I don't even use that word organize, because it has certain connotations that I don't like when I talk about what we're doing. Talking about individuals getting together in community while retaining their individuality. That's entirely different than the command and control systems of things like socialism and communism, for example. It's entirely different than capitalism, in the sense that even guys that are like true free market capitalists, it's every man for himself mostly. This is a little different. This is like saying, I want to take care of number one first, so I can also take care of number two. That's a whole different proposition. And that's the promise of what the Safe Network is about, is that you guys may think I'm absolutely nuts, and that's okay. I think pioneers and earliest adopters have to be a little nuts. I hope you're a little nuts. But I really, truly believe that David Irvine had a vision about changing the world. He was up to something bigger than just reinventing the internet. Now that sounds huge in and of itself, right? But say he's successful, say we're successful, and we reinvent the internet, and we adopt the safe network, and we start building applications that are killer. And this thing turns into a cyber brain that is like a huge bit, you know, the power of a huge supercomputer. It's resistant to malware, phishing, and all that spying and all that stuff. And you know, someday not earliest adopters, but average ordinary people use it because it's powerful and better. That's really what it's all about. But when you start out like it's you guys and me, you gotta have a crazy vision. And I think David had one, and it was that he knew that if we could begin to aggregate of our own free will and choice in a more naturalistic way around really great ideas in an open way, that things would absolutely change. I've got nothing to protect. That's why I talk openly about Chadrick's and my projects. That, and by the way, you can get in on that too. Build It Hub and SafeX. I talk openly about that because I got nothing to hide. You know, the Safe Network is going to be this infinite open space where it could sustain 20 of whatever I'm thinking of. And I fundamentally don't believe that ideas are proprietary. I think that they have, you know, even in the world as it exists today, you can't copyright or patent or trademark an idea, and that's the right way to think about that. Ideas belong to the Commonwealth of Man, and I believe in that. So let's see. We've got Chadrick saying, "I use co-conspirators often in a tongue-in-cheek way. Hope we all don't mind." Yeah, in a sense, well, hey, listen, it's really what we're up to. I think that people should, at this stage of the game, think about what it is that we're really doing. We're out to change the world. We're out to undermine the systems that exist in what I call a peaceful and effective 99% revolution. It's taking the opt-out, opt-in option because it really exists. That's the thing. And it's not about confronting power. It's not about taking on the powers that be. It's about undermining that power. And so, yeah, co-conspirators, you can say it tongue-in-cheek, Chadrick, but truth is, that's what we're trying to do, is to get together and change things. And I think that tonight, honestly, you know, who's ever on here with us, you know, I don't really, right now, there's 4 viewers. There's 4 people who have checked in, and one of them's me, one of them's Chadrick, and one of them's David. So whoever the 4th one is, send me something on the question things so I can see who you are. It's the beginning of something. You know, we want to gain traction for the safe network. You know, let's say that the technology is completely beta tested and version 1.0 comes out. Now's the time to get ready for that. Now's the time to decide, you know, that we believe in it and we're going to do something about it. And there will always be time for the next comers to the party. But this is the time for us. And I believe that we are in the right place. And so the Safe Cafe is all about just getting together and doing stuff like that. The very first idea, David, was that I could be free. I could have privacy. The MaidSafe motto was just boom, just struck me. Yeah, I can have a transaction with you, David Yamanaka, and it would be between me and you, and nobody could find out about it unless we wanted it to. And you know, we're gonna get. Listen, you need to think about this a little bit. We're gonna get accused of things. You know, just like you know, things that have been going on with Bitcoin and Silk Road. Except they're going to really worry about us once they figure out that David's unleashed a genie that really can't be put back in the bottle. And you know, they're going to poo-poo it. There's going to be all kinds of things. going to be said about people who use the safe network. It's inevitable, but now's the time to, in a peaceful and effective way, adopt it. I decided to do that, and I think that the truth is, you know, uh, there should be others, and I hope that there are. I hope that um, many others come along and talk about, come on to this, call it a forum, if you will. It's a tool. It's a thing for us to use. I don't want to dominate it, and I hope that others will feel inclined themselves to. Edward Snowden. Here's another one. Edward Snowden recently claimed that people should switch off Dropbox. Do you think this creates a demand for decentralized storage, such as MaidSafe? Well, yeah, I definitely think that it does. I think that people have things that they would like to know nobody can touch. You know, not just, I'm not talking about stuff you'd stick in a physical vault, but in a vault on MaidSafe or on the Safe network. There are things. Human beings are human. We have things we want to protect. And just because you have something you want to protect doesn't mean you're hiding something. It just means you want to be the one in control of deciding who gets to see your stuff. And in the world of centralized servers, how can you trust that with your most private stuff? I know I can't, and I don't have, big private stuff that I want to. I have to keep to myself. But I think that there are reasons to do that. I think that, for example, big data will be very interested in this ability to store things without servers. Think about it for a minute. How much money is spent on infrastructures of servers? How does having to maintain a server infrastructure affect your business model? I think there's going to be a lot of people interested in being able to use a decentralized server. And, obviously, some of this is going to cost them money, but it won't cost them the cost of maintaining, a huge giant server farm. Now, I'm not an expert in this area by any stretch of the imagination. I come from a background of I'm just saying, my father, he was hey, you're not so late, Francis. You're here. Good to see you, Francis Brunel from Montreal. So, welcome. You guys know, of course, Francis. Francis, he's heading up to SafePod in Montreal. It's good to see you. Thanks for showing up. We're just kind of getting started. David's been asking some questions, and yeah, I think big data is really going to be interested in what we're doing once it's robust enough, I guess. I think that there is a place for proprietary stuff on the Safe network. For example, everybody loves Apple. Not everybody, but they've been around a long time, and everybody's got warm and fuzzies about using their stuff. And they just, for example, they just recently signed a deal with IBM, of all people, to think that Apple and IBM are getting in bed together. That's an amazing new world. And it's over a little bit what we're talking about. I think IBM understands that design is king, and you know, data is important too. But I think this is an interesting marriage. I think IBM's gonna benefit a little more, but at the same time, I mean, think about it from Apple's perspective. If every business professional needs a tablet and an iPhone to hook up to proprietary software that's being run by uh, whatever big corporation to do their work, for example, on the, I think in a way that marriage doesn't spell the death knell of the desktop computer, especially since we've shown up. I actually believe there'll be a renaissance in desktops that are a little bit similar, like the return of the turntables and vinyl records. It's not a perfect analogy, but the idea is that a desktop with its space and a bigger fan motor is ideal for leaving it on, and that's a great little setup for somebody to farm for SafeCoin. Even if they just add a couple terabytes of drive to that situation because they want to, have a little extra storage, that kind of thing. I think Ed Snowden's, the fact that he did what he did and that sort of thing plays right into the rise and development of the Safe Network, because he showed that we're just, whatever people, whatever the general public suspected, his revelations ended up showing that privacy is dead. And if we want it back, that's what I was trying to say. When I grew up in the 70s, not the 60s, the 70s, as a young teenager sitting around with my friends, we had privacy, but that's all changed. The computer revolution took away everybody's privacy. The computer revolution with the Safe Network is going to restore that. At least that's my hope. David Yamanaka also asked, regarding applications, what kind of apps would you like to see on the Safe Network? Well, Chadrick and I are building something called Build It Hub, and that's a meta app. We have some really great ideas, and we invite others to join us, OSS developers, and other people who are not. Listen, I've said it before, I couldn't code my way out of a paper bag, and that's the truth. But there is a place for people in this project who are not coders. And but Build It Hub, for example, Build It Hub is, I don't want to just plug that, but Build It Hub is a builder's application. It's like think of it as a kind of as an incubator, kind of as a place where people would aggregate to find projects that they could work on, and work in this project or that project because of the facility of that. With SafeCoin attached to the network, workers can add value in many different projects and earn a stake. And when that app goes live, they can begin to earn a proportional share of whatever value they added or created. So what kind of apps would I like to see besides builders apps that are specifically designed to help builders build applications for the Safe Network? I know that's a mouthful, but that's what Build It Hub is all about. Chadrick and I are working on another project called SafeX, which is a simple idea. As SafeCoin becomes pretty valuable, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. I mean, if Bitcoin is valuable in an insecure, crappy old internet with the public blockchain ledger, and it's got a floor of value of, right now today, it's probably, most people would agree, around $500. Probably the floor of Bitcoin. Doesn't guarantee anything, but if it's that valuable in that environment, what do you think? What do you think SafeCoin is going to be worth when in a private network, and when it acts like cash, the cash transaction? It's going to become pretty valuable in my opinion. But people want to be able to trade SafeCoin for other currencies, whether it's a euro or a dollar or a British pound or other altcoins like Bitcoin or maybe gold and silver. The SafeX is that kind of a money-changing application, so that the wealth that's generated on the Safe network, while it's usable as a medium of exchange on the Safe network, we will be able to transfer that value to the real world. That's our particular vision for SafeX. I would like to see a safe book, like Facebook. I would like to see a safe book. I would like to see people be able to have a social network that they, weren't dealing with ads and that kind of thing, and where, the central feature of that was that privacy. It was a tool that you could still be in a social environment, but you could rest assured that your privacy was intact. I would like to see something like that. I think that Errol Balkin, who's developing the Indie phone, he'd be a great partner with us to marry the Indie phone. He should be talking to Michael Jackson and David and other great developers who are here working in this environment now. Marrying that technology to a secure network. I think that, obviously I'd like to see, I think all of us would like to have a secure means of having conversations where we know we weren't spied on, and, a phone is a very handy thing. Of course, you could change it into a wristband. They're coming out with those now. Or you could, obviously use a tablet or any of those devices, but I'd like to see that kind of an application. What do you guys? Hey, anybody got any ideas of applications that you'd like to see? Type them in. Okay, I see. Someone's saying Indie phone. Yes, that's Chadrick. And let me go down here and make sure I got everybody on this question. Yeah, okay. I haven't left anything out. Excuse me. Yeah, the applications. Other applications I'd like to see. I was thinking of. It sounds like oh, I know one I thought about that I think would be like really excellent. Would be like somebody that had an application to help businessmen set up a store. And what it is like you would use this thing to you'd be able to take this application and use it as a template for whatever thing you wanted to sell on the Safe network, whatever it was, or maybe not a template, but a series of templates. Maybe the best applications would be applications that gave people a choice. If you had this kind of a business, use this kind of a template. If you had that kind of a business, use that kind of a template. So it would make commerce very easy. In a free and open network, you have to remember, you got to like sort of drain your head of all the things that you think you need to do a business. In a free and open and secure network where nobody can get into your business, you don't have to abide by anybody's rules but your own. That is the promise of the Safe network. So all the bureaucratic nonsense and all the legal stuff, that goes out the window in an environment like this. And that's what the brutes and the thugs of the world who run the pseudo corporatocracy that run the corporatocracy and the pseudo governments in the world are afraid of, because they can't control situations like that. Anyway, so I'd like to see some of that. Now, somebody, hang on, let me go down here. This is David. David Yamanaka is saying, he's saying in quotation marks, I may be working on a super project temporarily named MOW in capital letters, Master of Widgets. This will be the first instance I am announcing this concept. Wow. Master of Widgets. What does that mean, David? Give us some more. It sounds interesting. Yeah, and you know, and while we're on the subject, in this environment, man, I ran into. I'm not going to name any names because I don't believe in that. I think it's fair that people are sort of trained by the old world that they grew up in. But when I said drain your brain, I'm talking about new learning sometimes requires unlearning. And I think that we need to stop holding our cards so closely. So thank you, David, for sharing your idea, because the truth is this network that is being built is infinite. And unless we adopt a sort of an ethos that the best idea wins, then we got nothing. If you make a killer application that attracts people because users of the Safe Network who use that application go tell their friends to use that application, like the same way, listen, I used to work in Hollywood. What makes a great movie is word of mouth. That's it. They can advertise, they can spend money on stuff like that, and they do. But I'm telling you, unless Susie tells Janie to come watch this romantic comedy, it's a dud. It is really hopeless unless the story's great and people's hearts get moved, that go back to whoever they love, whoever they care about, whoever's their friend. You gotta see this movie. And by the way, if any of you have not seen the 2012 music made for the movies version of Les Miserables with Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman and what was her name, Anne Hathaway, you got to see it because it is moving to watch this. Done very, very well, and it's. I watched this the other night, and I thought to myself, this is why we need the Safe Network, so that people have an opt-out, opt-in option. And I really do mean when I say that the 99% revolution can't be stopped, because like once people realize that the Safe Network really is the real deal, they're going to go tell their friends, and they can't do anything about it when people start opting out of things that they don't have to deal with anymore. Is that going to happen tomorrow? No. I would say this word, my opinion, and that's all it is. It's just an opinion. It's a generational work. We're the pioneers. 20 years from now, it's going to be a whole different story. It's going to be probably before that, well before that. It's going to be a very robust and very ubiquitous network. Be strong and everywhere across the planet. Doesn't take long. And a real revolution, any kind of a real revolution, only takes about 3% of a population for it to be a real revolution. So the Earth's population of 8 billion today, it only takes 240 million people to change everything. And that's not even a third of what the Facebook users are. Facebook users they say are about 750 million people now. Twitter's 300 million people now. So, I don't think it takes long to get those kind of numbers. I think what it does take is vision. And that's where you guys come in. you have, oh, look at that. Somebody already has this notion of a safe book. David Yamanaka says, I gave a link here at MaidSafe.org. There's a link here to SafeBook Social Network. See, that's pretty cool. Chadrick writes, APP Whistleblower Network. Yeah, you know, you need in a safe network, whistleblowing becomes very easy to do. Alerting the authorities, if you will. You know, this guy's breaking the law. Yeah, that's there too. You know, I think the future is that we're going to have parallel universes. And I've written a little bit about this, but, you know, I live in an area where there are literally Bedouin goat herders. And, you know, they live very primitive lives, and that's the way they live. And, you know, I call that Tier 1. They've lived that way for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 10,000. Tier 2, to me, is the real world as it is. Tier 3 is the emergent. You know, you guys probably aware of the debate about net neutrality, I'm sure. The powerful and the moneyed interests of the world are going to peel off the most best fiber highways to themselves, and it's going to cost a lot to be on those high-speed networks, and the rest of us be damned. So they're already figuring out a way to peel off the best for themselves. But that's what elites have done since the dawn of time. Of course, Tier 4 is what I think we're creating, which is the opt-out, opt-in option, which is to say, when, not if, when the Safe Network is launched, that will begin a new era in the development of civilization, in my opinion. And I think it has power to reboot civilization in a certain respect. So that's why I'm involved. Is that I've been somebody who's been wanting to figure out how to, you know, I've been wanting to figure out how I could live without powers that want to foist their rules upon me since I was a young man. And, you know, I think I know how to govern my life better. So that's why I'm involved. Let me see if I got all the questions so far. Here we have Francis Brunel. Sorry, Francis, I had to page through that a little bit. Francis says, I'd like to see versions of email, Skype, YouTube, Facebook, Google Search, eBay, Twitter, Reddit, and lots more made for the Safe Network. Yeah, I couldn't agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more, is what I'm trying to say. I think every one of those applications could and should. And let me just say, what will draw people to the Safe Network are the applications. You know, the network will only be as adopted as the applications are great. You know, so here's our chance to make great applications and to attract people to open source that pays, because that's the model. And I think that those of us who Francis also writes Wikipedia. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, this is a great. What I would say is about Wikipedia is that I think that the Safe Network is the place that a Wikipedia belongs, because it's a free, it's an open, it's a secure network, and I think that that's very compatible with that. Let's see here. What else do we have in these questions? So the other thing I wanted to talk about to you tonight was about the Safe Cafe. And that is this, is that if this is going to really become a facilitative tool for developing relationships among those of us who are the earliest adopters of the Safe network, it's going to take more than one guy like me to make it that way. So I'm hereby officially inviting all of you who are the debut audience, if you will, and thank you all for asking all these questions, because otherwise it would just be me sitting here, blah blah blah. I love MaidSafe, and here's why. And that's not bad. And I'm not saying that sometimes I might not come up with an idea with this where I've got something important to say and I might want to get very topical. But just as I might want to get very topical and devote a segment of this show to that because I think it's worth it, I would hope that you and anyone else who comes along would feel free to say, drop me a line, and let me know. Say, hey, we should talk about this, or I got this great guy, and he would be a great guy for you to interview. And I would love to do that because it does have that capacity. You can come on this thing live if you want, and you and I can have a conversation, or you and somebody else can have a conversation. We can even have, honestly, I've thought about this too. We can have like guest hosts. Let's put it that way. I don't need to be the host. I'm happy to let somebody else sit in this chair if they want to. Until then, or as things go, I will take a passionate lead in this, only because I believe that this over time will be a great tool for developing relationship amongst the people who really are committed to working on Project Safe, the Safe Pods, whether that's in Montreal or San Francisco, and I hope eventually in Tel Aviv here in Israel. Not that I would do that personally, but I happen, I don't know, maybe I'll get involved, I don't know. But I happen to know for a fact that besides Silicon Valley in California, Silicon Wadi here in Tel Aviv, in Israel. I don't live in Tel Aviv, but when I say Tel Aviv, I don't mean just Tel Aviv. I mean, the whole area we call Silicon Wadi, which is the Israeli application development community. I know there are talented people here who would see great promise in this. So whoever you are and whatever you're doing, I think it's pretty fundamental that we need to know each other. And I have felt from the beginning of the inception of this project, which is not that old, people. I haven't, I'm not some genius. I just said, hey, I woke up one day and said, we need to do this. So I decided to do it. And what I'm really after is what I call the development of a wise crowd. Chadrick and I need wise crowds for our projects. I believe that every great application needs a wise crowd to develop it so that it's not done in the dark corner with only a few ideas. Why do I believe that? Well, one of the things I do is study things, and the research bears out that problems that get solved by a wise crowd are typically superior than the kinds of problems that get solved in the corner by one or two people. And I think that the Safe Network, being itself an open, free place, which some people might disagree with that in the sense that it's a place where privacy is ensured, but that's just the irony. The truth is, anybody can come in and own the network, just like I'm doing. I own it. It's mine, but it's also yours, and it belongs to everyone. It's a commonwealth. A commonwealth means that everybody owns it. And just like that is true, I think that the future belongs to a type of self-aggregating structure called an open value network, which is the idea that people can come together and create value, add value, as they choose to add value and create value inside of a structure that community creates for itself. It's not just a disorderly free-for-all, but that community creates that structure, creates its own rules for how that structure functions, and tends towards naturalistic ideas such as no hierarchy, everybody, just is working together in a network environment, and because of the structure of the Safe Network, with the ability for us to earn SafeCoin, that is possible, and that's part of the genius of what is available to us, and so this tool, the Safe Cafe, I believe is a thing for us to get together and ask questions and talk about issues that relate to building this network. And not only that, but building relationships with each other. And I think that the future belongs to the Safe Network, and the ability of human beings to self-aggregate regardless of geographical location and work together in a secure, private, and free network. I'm a man of words, but I don't have words for that, because I think that's amazing to me, and no ability of third parties to interfere with that process. No ability of the brutes and the thugs of the world that want to foist their rules upon you. This is a time for us to change the world because we can, not to wait around and ask permission from anybody. And I think that that's the promise of the Safe Network. And I think that that's why a tool like the Safe Cafe is important. Why? Also, because it's not MaidSafe. You see, David and Nick and the guys are the guys that develop the technology, and it's absolutely, we'd be nowhere without that. Absolutely, forever and ever, we owe a great debt of gratitude to MaidSafe, David, Nick, and these guys. Yeah, I don't have words to share how grateful I am to them for what the promise of this thing is. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I think discovering it has changed my life. I don't worship David Irving. He's a guy just like the rest of us, but I appreciate him and respect him and these guys for what they've done. And yet, he envisioned it from the beginning. It's not. It has to be adopted. It has to go out into the world, and the Safe Cafe becomes an embodiment of that idea. A fledgling. I grant you, it's very 4 or 5 viewers on our first night. it may not count for much, but it's the idea that we're going to get together from all over and wherever we're at, and we're going to develop as a community and think about what it's going to take to climb this mountain. And it is a huge mountain. There's no doubt about it. And it's right that that's how we look at it, I think. It's that you go, whoa, this thing's huge. Whoa, am I really up for it? Well, that's a decision everybody has to make. You know, when we think about technology adoption, there are pioneers, there are earliest adopters, there are earlier adopters, there are early adopters, there are middle adopters, and late adopters. That's the way it is. So you have to decide, as everybody has to decide, you know, where do you belong in? You know, for me, I jumped in on this and said, somehow, some way, I'm going to make this happen. And you know, there has to be a way. And I don't have all the answers. I'm not supposed to. But I am one man, and I've already determined that I can change the world. I hope you, as one person and a woman, feel the same way, because actually it's true. One man with a great idea can change everything. I think David's already done that. David Irving. And he sets a good example for us. And a guy who understands that just because the work is hard, just because the work is impossible, doesn't mean it can't be done. It can be done. He's proven that. And you know, it's very inspiring to me to see it. And I'm going to see this through, and or die trying. Either way, it's okay. So that's where I'm at with the whole thing. So what are your thoughts about this forum or this tool? Can you see your place in helping the safe network, the human half of the safe network, to begin to get some traction? Because that has to happen. And so this thing, us getting together, is fundamentally about that. The human half, the other half, if you will, not the technological half, not the protocols or the SafeCoin, but the people, the users, the farmers, the builders, the people, they themselves, who will become and who are the safe network. Tonight, as I sit here, there are still 4 people on. There was only ever 5. I don't know who that 5th person was, but tonight 4 people got together from. Now, David, you'll have to excuse me if you want to plug it in and tell us, that's okay. If you don't, that's okay too. But I don't know where David Yamanaka is located. I know that Francis is in Montreal. I know that Chadrick is in Michigan, and I'm in Israel. Tonight, 4 or 5 people got together and became the human safe network. That's what happened to me. I'm not saying it didn't happen before, or there isn't other things going on that I don't know of. But to me, I'm a little troubled by the fact that there isn't more than just, you know, this is different than, you know, like the MaidSafe.org forum. That there's a place for that. That's cool. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. I expect that people will continue to use that, as they should. But this is taking it up a notch. This is saying, let's get together, like people get together, the best we can in a virtual way, because we're going to be spread out and that kind of thing. And hang on a second, just make sure I didn't miss anybody. And yeah, and then we can hopefully, as the thing grows, people can meet other people and they can share their ideas, share what applications they want to develop, and go from that into creating application development teams. It's possible, and I think that something that is devoted to that is well worth it. And so my hope is that okay, let's see, I'll get this done. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that regarding apps. I'll get that one there. That one's done. Chadwick's reminding me that to clear out things that need to be cleared here. I think I got everything, but I'm just going to make sure real quick. I don't want to miss anybody's questions. Yeah, I just think that this thing is absolutely. Oh, here we go. David Yamanaka is in New Mexico, in the United States. So we have New Mexico, Michigan, Montreal, and Israel. That's what's going on tonight. So Chadrick writes, I'd like to see an open hangout in the future where we can all just be introduced to each other, but there might be too much noise for that if we start seeing too many people. Well, that's true. So in the early days, Chadrick, I think that's great, you know. The only reason I don't, now you guys are going to have to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the only reason you're not here in visual for me to see is because of the choices you've made. And I don't have a problem with that. You don't have to do that. That's what it means to be free, is that you get to choose what you want to do. So if I think that there's nothing, I think I may not have done it correctly or something. There may be something I should have done that I'm not aware of, but I think you opted to not do that. I think that that's where we're at today. So if that's not true, you have to help me. Please help me. Chadrick goes, dang, I was just out in New Mexico. Wish I would have known that. See, now that's cool too. See, so now you know that, Chadrick and David. And next time that David's passing through Michigan and you're passing through New Mexico, you can get to know each other. I think David, David Yamanaka, if I recall it properly, I think we see his note in front of the forum about to all the new people to how to be cool and all that when you're on the forum. So, he's involved. I know you're involved, Chadwick, a lot on the forums, and I see Francis there too. And of course, Francis now has a. Okay. Wait, let me show you. Let me see what. Okay, I'm just paging through here. I haven't cleared all these out, so I'm going to clear some more, make sure that I'm not missing anything. And yeah, so I'd like to see Chadrick. I'd like to see open hangouts in the future too. I would like to be able to have conversations with, verbal talking heads. Let's put it that way, just like other things. And it's okay. Here, David says, I recommend using MaidSafe's Mumbles conference room. I would love to expand the concept because it includes every app developer. Okay. Great. I mean, yeah, we could do that. I mean, there's nothing that keeps us from doing that. And there's not, also there's nothing, I'm not sure what that is. So David Yamanaka writes, I recommend using MaidSafe's Mumble's conference room. I would love to expand the concept because it includes every app developer. Okay, so that brings up an important idea that I want to say tonight. That is, I believe strongly that people should just take things on. You know, it's not an either-or situation. Just because, you know, I'm like here hosting the Safe Cafe, maybe you're saying I need to do it there, which I could do. I don't have a problem with that. Maybe it's a better idea, so maybe I will do that in the future. Maybe we'll change doing that over Google Hangouts. I don't know, but on a general note, every one of us can take on doing anything, and should, that we feel strongly about. If you don't feel like you're wired for that, and it's not your ball of wax, and you want to come to me to talk to me about doing stuff, I'm all for that too. So, you know, just get with me and help me understand what your idea is, and if I can help you with your idea, or be a moderator or a host if you think that that's what you want me to do. I'm not a professional at this at all. I'm just merely taking it on because of what I see is a need, and I feel okay with that, doing it myself, because, you know, one of the hats I feel that I wear is being an evangelist for the Safe Network, Project Safe, MaidSafe. That's, you know, what I self-identify as. So, yeah, you've got better ways. You know, I am interested in reaching the maximum number of people, making the biggest impact. If you can help me do that, I will bend over backwards, do anything. You know, people that, if you've listened to me on UK Bitcoin with Freya Stevens, if you think I give a pretty good interview, I think I give a fairly good interview. My wife tells me I give a great interview. I'm very interested in appearing on podcasts, radio shows, whatever, plugging MaidSafe, explaining MaidSafe, talking about the implications for MaidSafe. You know, I tend to be sort of what I call philosophical, and that's my nature. But, you know, as you already know, I'm decidedly biased, and that's that. So I make a pretty good evangelist that way. But it's really not about me. This is about the best ideas. So I'll support you and your great ideas. I'll be there cheering you on if you guys are taking on doing your own kinds of things. But you don't have to. If you just want to support this project, you want to help this thing to grow, that's great too, because I really feel like this is just the beginning. And I think that as we get some legs underneath us and we develop this, that great ideas are going to emerge, and people will see ways forward, whereas now it looks like a great big ocean, and or a great let's put, you know, maybe it's like a rock face that we have to climb up, and we're still down here looking at where are all the toe holds that as we climb this thing we make sure we can get to the top. Yeah, it's a big project, guys. So it's a huge thing to look at. It can be very intimidating, and some people look at it and say, that's not for me, or not yet, or okay, you guys are dreamers and I'm a real down to earth practical guy and I need to wait and see what happens. Well, there are people that are like that, you know, but there's a place for dreamers and visionaries and pioneers and earliest adopters, and now is the time to be that, if you are that, and to find others who you can join with you to create teams and create community. And so I'm all for that, David. If we can use the MaidSafe's Mumble conference room, I would love to. I would love to uh, um, make this conversation more public. The one thing I guess maybe this is a sort of an alternate view to what you're saying. I'll just say it, and you can sort of chew on it. The one thing I don't want to do is to confuse people, and I want people to understand and make distinctions that, you know, MaidSafe is MaidSafe, and the Safe Network is the Safe Network. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about the technology. I'm talking about the people now. So you have the developers of the technology, and you also have the Safe Pods, which are sponsored projects by MaidSafe, and certainly those kinds of people are welcome here too. And we want to hear from you. Francis, don't get the wrong idea. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about what's going on in Montreal. Paige, we want to hear from you. What's going on in San Francisco, and we want to know about what that is like. David writes, join me and Fab on Mumble after the session. I would love to chat. Okay. If you can, yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. I'll learn. You know, I'll see what I have to do that. Believe it or not, I don't. Whatever Mumble is, I've heard of it, and I know it. Yeah. Well, I can just find the link, I'm sure, and do that. So yeah, after this is over, I'll do that, David. I will go on to Mumble and join you and Francis. Let's see if there's anything else. Did that one. And Chadrick says, I'm not sure how to use Mumble. So David, if you can write something here into the questions about using Mumble, that makes two of us. Oh, wait a second. Here it is. Francis, right here, says the link is mumble.sourceforge. I know about SourceForge for sure. Okay, cool. So that's that, and here we go. Francis says, we're organizing the world's first MaidSafe conference in Montreal. If some of you want to attend, that would be great. David Irvine said it's very likely he will make the trip. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let's see. Yeah, so, wow. That would be great, man. Yeah, and those are great. Those are great ideas too. So the idea is for Chadrick's telling us he's installing the client software now for Mumble. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff that's going to get the word out. We need to support one another in our projects, and give each other our best thoughts about how to do things and how to do them best and how to do them better. You know, like I said, I'm just taking this on because I see the need. So I welcome your ideas about how to improve this, or do it better, or do it in ways that will reach a bigger audience. Other kinds of good ideas about program variety, program focus, those kinds of things. Yeah, that'd be great. And my long-term goals with what I'm doing is to just keep doing what I'm doing, but to get better at it. And also, to do my own projects with people like Chadwick and others, uh, so that I'm learning SafeCoin on the Safe Network just like everyone else. David Yamanaka writes, the MaidSafe server address is office.maidsafe.net. Okay. Let me see if I'm not. We'll just keep getting rid of questions as we do it. Now that I'm learning how to do what I'm supposed to be doing a little better. And get rid of this. I want to keep a few at the top, just to remember about Mumble. And I want to keep that link also. I'm going to keep that link, David, about the SafeBook social network. Once you download Mumble, you need to connect to the MaidSafe server. That's what David writes. Once you download Mumble, you need to connect to the MaidSafe server. Okay, I'll leave that there. Chadwick says, what's the Mumble address on the MaidSafe server? You've already answered that. Good. That's good. And so, and Francis, listen, when you make, of course, you'll let us know when you have your first SafePod meeting. I'm very interested in being in that. Not to say anything, I just want to watch it. I learn a lot from those, and I really enjoy them. And David and Viv and those guys hang out. They've been hanging out with Paige a few times now. And of course, let me know about whatever else you guys are doing. Okay, you connect that, you connect that. Okay, we got that. Down there. Down here. Okay. Who has any comments or questions? Now's the time. There was only, four or five of us tonight, so I planned this for 2 hours. But I think what we'll do is we'll opt out here in the next 15 minutes, unless there's reason to go on. I want to maybe just only respond to any particular questions or ideas that you have that you think would be appropriate for tonight's debut, whatever. He means the Mumble service address is office.maidsafe.net. Okay? I'll keep that one so I have it, so I can do it. And is there anything else here? MaidSafe port 64738. Oh, RJ Taylor. We have someone here. Hello, RJ. What is the Safe Network? Well, that's cool. Hi, RJ. Okay, so the Safe Network is a technology being developed that is in essence a reinvention of the internet. Instead of the internet being did she go away? Yeah, there you are. Okay. Instead of the internet being public and just so susceptible to things like malware and spyware and things like that, and slowing down when more and more people get on it. So you're sitting around waiting for pages to generate and that kind of thing. The Safe Network is private, secure, it's free, and it's they're in what's called the testnet phase, and after they work out all the issues that relate to setting it up entirely and properly, uh, they're going to have a beta release later this year. And when lots and lots and lots of people adopt this distributed autonomous network without servers, unlike the current setup of the internet, it will become very strong, very fast, very private, very secure, and very free. That's a brief overview of what the Safe Network is, and I thank you for asking that question because it's good to see you, and I hope that others who don't know what the Safe Network is tune into the Safe Cafe. This is our debut broadcast, if you will. We're starting to look for the earliest adopters of a brand new technology, and that's the reason why I set up the Safe Cafe. And the people who are signed on tonight are I'm in Israel, another guy's in Montreal, Canada, another guy's in Michigan, another guy's in New Mexico. So we're all over the place, and I don't know where you're at, but you're certainly welcome to join us. I'll be putting out information about the next. RJ, yes, thank you. It is very interesting, and yeah, I'm just very, yeah. RJ, if you'll follow me on Twitter at David Lassoff, I'll help you learn a lot more about what the Safe Network is about. Tell your friends too, because now's the time to be learning about it, right? It's not even launched yet, but it is real. It's not a pipe dream. And RJ's from Palm Springs, California. That's not quite my old stomping grounds, but I'm from LA, and welcome. So that's kind of cool. So we got California, New Mexico, Montreal, Michigan, and Israel in the Safe Cafe tonight. And I'm very pleased to have you tonight, RJ, and David Yamanaka, and Francis from Montreal, and Chadrick from Michigan. Thank you so much for being here. I see RJ has put up her web link, zencommedia.com. So anyone watching this can connect to that. Thank you, RJ. And does anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to we've been on now an hour and 20 minutes. We're going to probably finish within the next 10 minutes or so. Yeah, so my future plans are just to keep doing what I'm doing, get better at what I'm doing, and work on projects, the two projects that I'm working on, Build It Hub and the SafeX, as excellent, we hope, applications for the Safe Network. And I look forward to talking to you, David, and Chadrick, and Francis, and on Mumble in a few minutes as soon as we're done here. Okay, so I guess we should just wrap it up, huh? And again, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And tonight, if you were here, I think you made history. I believe that. So I think we'll remember this as we move on, and
and develop the human half of the Safe Network. And you get more and more people knowledgeable tonight. Really glad you showed up, RJ. I mean, that's cool, because you didn't know anything about it, and you were here tonight. So this broadcast, this debut broadcast, is dedicated to RJ and all the people who've never heard of the Safe Network. I hope you guys remember that. Ooh, is there somebody here? No, that's another. There we go. Oh, that's another thing. Okay, that was just somebody contacting me on some other thing. I thought I'd turned everything else off. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you, and I hope that we get together as often as we can. I'll let you guys know when we're going to do this again. I hope to do it. I'm just, yeah. My wife says, "What's their opinion? When do you guys want to do it again? You can let me know that." Oh, Ray Smith is checking in. Hi, Ray. Good to see you. Yay, very cool. Nice to meet you, David, RJ says. Nice to meet you too, RJ. Thanks for being here. Hi, Ray. We got a new person just checked in. Yeah. We had just I think we had a really great introduction to what we're trying to do here tonight. And next broadcast, some of you will want to chime in. Just visit with me. Be another talking head, if you will, not just me. Anyway, so Ray Smith says he's from Pennsylvania. So that's cool, Ray. Thanks for. Hey, I grew up in a little town. I'm really a West Coast boy from about 1987 on. But I was born in California, but I grew up and went to school in a little town called Lionville, Pennsylvania, and then I went down the road. I went to a high school called Downingtown. So Lionville and Downingtown, southeast Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia, are kind of where I grew up. So next time we meet, I'm going to let you know. Now, Ray and RJ, follow me on Twitter at David Lassoff, and I'll help you get oriented to what's going on here with the Safe Network and what we're trying to do here on the Safe Cafe. Okay, make sure that you get a hold of me, or just drop me a message. And I have a blog called the Safe Network blog on Medium.com. That's medium.com / and then like Twitter at David Lassoff. And I have lots of articles on there about MaidSafe and the Safe Network and SafeCoin, and it's just a way to get an education about this right now in the stage in this new stage. I mean, this first stage of development. We're right in the earliest time of the birth of the Safe Network. Your presence here tonight is historical. So we're glad that you came, and we're going to end this in a minute or two. Thank you for being here tonight, and look forward to hearing from you. And I'll be in touch. Let you know when we're going to do this again. I hope to do this very regularly, and at least I would say at least something like once a week. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I could do more, I could do less. You just have to see how it goes. And I'm interested in hearing from you, your feedback, so please let me know. Anyway, from the Startup Nation, Israel, I say to you shalom, and thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you again soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.